Welcome to the Super Mario Bros. Movie. So we start in Brooklyn, where Mario and Luigi are trying to become entrepreneurs, which is a very optimistic way of saying they quit stable jobs without the backup plan. They've started their own plumbing business, and to promote it, they made a commercial that feels like it was produced in a living room with maximum confidence and minimum budget. And they're extremely proud of it. But no one else is. Their former boss immediately calls them out, basically informing that leaving their jobs was, in his professional opinion, a terrible idea. But after that talk, they actually got a job, which is great. So they just parkour their way there because the car broke down, and then they just ruined the house and the dog. And then the movie follows that up with a family dinner, just to make sure the previous message really sinks in. Because now it's not just one guy doubting them, it's everyone. Mario's dad is especially supportive in that very specific way, where he's technically talking, but emotionally just saying, this was a mistake. Mario is locked in on the idea that this is going to work, even though their only evidence so far is a commercial that looks like it might accidentally scare customers away. Right after this, the city starts flooding, which is either a disaster or the best possible advertisement opportunity they're ever going to get. Mario chooses to see it as an opportunity. Finally, a real problem. Finally something they can fix. So he grabs Luigi, ignores the fact that this is probably way bigger than them, and heads straight into the sewer system to deal with it. And to be fair, this is exactly what they wanted. A chance to prove themselves. They try to turn the big wheel that's supposed to be the problem, but the pipe they're on breaks, so they crash through a wall that hides a very old portal to sewers. When they go down, Luigi spots a big green pipe that's just there in the open, and he gets sucked in it. And now, we're in full Mario logic. They're flying through this warp tunnel, bouncing between paths, spinning around like the laws of physics took a break. And for a second, it actually looks kind of fun. But then, they get separated mid-transport, and the tone shifts immediately depending on where they land. Mario gets dropped into the Mushroom Kingdom, which looks like a colorful fantasy world designed to make you forget how you got there. Bright, open, weirdly peaceful. Luigi on the other hand lands somewhere that looks like it actively hates life. Dark sky, lava everywhere, zero welcoming energy. And before he can even process what's happening, he's being chased. Which is fair, because this is clearly not a safe zone. He runs, panics, tries to hide, and it does not help. At all. He gets captured almost immediately by Bowser's forces. Which means Luigi has officially spent less than 5 minutes in this world before becoming a prisoner. Meanwhile, Mario is still in Mushroom Kingdom and very confused, but weirdly functional. And this is where he meets Toad, who immediately decides they're friends now and doesn't really give Mario a choice. Toad explains where they are, in the most casual way possible. Like people fall into alternate dimensions every day, and then points Mario toward the one person who might actually be able to help, Princess Peach. Which gives Mario a direction, at least, because right now all he knows is his brother is missing. He's in a completely different world, and somehow this is still his problem to fix. So they head off to the castle. And just like that, Mario's gone from guy trying to prove his business works, to a guy who now has to deal with whatever this world throws at him. So Mario and Toad pull up to Peach's castle, and this is where the movie immediately corrects your expectations. Because Peach is not waiting around to be rescued. She's running the entire operation. Guards, planning, strategy. He's already dealing with Bowser before Mario even finishes explaining why he's here. And to his credit, Mario doesn't waste time. He explains the situation, Luigi got dragged into whatever nightmare dimension this is, and he needs help getting him back, which is a reasonable request. The only problem is that Peach has a much bigger issue already in progress. Because Bowser is not subtle about anything he does. We cut to him arriving at the Penguin Kingdom, and instead of negotiating or even pretending to be reasonable, he just immediately goes for intimidation, surrender or get destroyed. The penguins choose to fight, which is admirable and also completely ineffective. They get wiped out in seconds. Bowser takes the Power Star, and now he has what is basically a win any fight instantly button sitting in his inventory. And then we get the actual motivation behind all of this. He wants to marry Peach. Not ally with her, not negotiate, marry her. And if she says no, he's prepared to just keep destroying things until it changes. So now the stakes are very clear. Back at the castle, Peach decides she's not waiting for him to show up. She's going to move first. Her plan is to recruit the Kongs, because apparently they have an entire army just sitting in the Jungle Kingdom, which is normal for this world. And we are not questioning it, because monkey equals good. Mario insists on going with her, because Luigi is still out there, and standing still is not really an option. Peach agrees, but she wants to see if he can actually survive outside the castle, which leads to the obstacle course, and the thing is designed to humble him fast. Moving platforms, shifting walls, rotating hazards, everything is timed perfectly, and Mario is not. It's the perfect Super Mario level. He misses jumps, gets knocked off, slams into things, restarts, and repeats the process enough times that it stops being a test and starts being a lifestyle. Meanwhile, Peach runs through it once perfectly, like she's done this every morning before breakfast. Eventually, Mario starts getting the timing down. Not cleanly, not consistently, but enough to show he's learning. And that's really the point. He's not naturally built for this world, but he refuses to stop trying, which is apparently the qualifying trait here. So Peach lets him come. They gear up, grab power-ups, and head out towards the Jungle Kingdom. Meanwhile, Luigi is now in Bowser's castle, and things are not improving for him. Bowser wants information, but Luigi is not from here. He doesn't have any, other than the one that Mario is also in the kingdom, but he doesn't know where. He gets locked in a cage with a bunch of other prisoners, including the penguins, who now have a lot of time to reflect on their earlier decision-making. And Luigi is trying to stay calm, but this is very clearly not his environment. He's not built for this. He's built for assisting, not surviving on his own in the dungeon run by a fire-breathing dictator. And I just love this little blue star. He's just so reasonable. Back with Mario and Peach, they finally reach the Jungle Kingdom and immediately get stopped, because you don't just walk into Kong's territory without permission. They get brought before Cranky Kong, who looks at the situation and is already tired of it. Peach explains everything, bows out the threat, the need for an alliance, and Cranky is not impressed at all. So Mario steps in and offers a solution that feels very on brand for how this world operates. He challenges the Kongs, which is less diplomatic and more, let's solve this with violence and hope it works. And somehow it does. Cranky agrees that if Mario can beat his son, they will help, which means Mario has just signed himself up to fight a gorilla who looks like he treats this as cardio. The worst part is, Mario seems confident about it, which means this is about to go very badly for him. So now we are in a full arena setup and Mario is about to fight Donkey Kong, in front of an entire crowd that showed up specifically to watch him get destroyed. And Donkey Kong walks in like this is his routine, because for him, it probably is. Mario, on the other hand, has been in this world for what feels like a single afternoon, and now he's expected to win a public fight against someone that can bench press him without trying. So the fight starts, and it's not close. DK immediately starts destroying Mario, and generally treats Mario like an object instead of a person. Mario tries to fight back, but it mostly just looks like he's surviving by accident. It's less back and forth, and more, Mario gets launched in different directions. But the one thing Mario does consistently is to get back up, which is either determination or a completely refusal to accept reality. Eventually he gets the right power up, which is the catsuit. He got the tiny mushroom before, but we all know how that went. With the catsuit, he actually claps DK's cheeks and kicks him out of the arena. So, he won. Cranky honors the deal, even though he clearly did not expect this outcome, and the alliance is set. Donkey Kong is not happy about it, but he's also not arguing with the result. So now they're on the same team, which mostly just means DK is going to insult Mario slightly less often. With the alliance secured, the plan shifts to actually preparing for Bowser. And this is where the movie makes a decision that only works if you don't think about it too long. They build carts. Not just basic vehicles, fully customized, weaponized, high-speed carts. Because apparently, if you're going to war, you might as well do it like it's a racing game. And nobody questions this, which is impressive. I mean, why would they though? It's amazing to build the dream car, but I don't really understand Mario's choice to go with the most basic of cars. And well, there's some more here to get all the franchises into the movie, so Mario Kart it is then. So now we've got Mario, Peach, Donkey Kong, Toad, and the rest of the Kong army rolling out in a convoy across Rainbow Road. Which looks amazing and functions like it was built without any concerns for safety or physics. And for a moment it actually feels like things are going smoothly. They have numbers, they have momentum, and they have a plan that, while questionable, is at least still a plan. And then Bowser's army shows up. Because of course they do. And immediately everything turns into chaos. Shells flying everywhere, vehicles getting knocked off the road, constant movement with zero room for error. It's basically a full Mario Kart match, except now losing means falling into nothing. And right when it feels like they might actually hold their ground, the blue shell appears. Which is not just a weapon, it's a statement. It locks onto Mario and Donkey Kong and guarantees that someone is about to have a very bad time. The explosion hits, the road collapses, and the entire convoy has to halt. No recovery, no second chances, just gone. Mario and Donkey Kong get launched off the track and drop straight into the ocean below, while everyone else gets captured by Bowser's forces. And just like that, the entire plan falls apart. Which in hindsight was always a possibility when the strategy was drive fast on a floating road and hope nothing goes wrong. So now Mario and DK are stuck together in the water, but only for a second, because this giant eel is about to swallow them, which it then also did. So now, stuck in the eel, the two need to come up with a plan to get out of it. They get angry at each other and they are roasting each other, but then the two notice that when Donkey Kong is smashing the eel, it has to burp. So they use that to their advantage. So they use the second rocket attached to Donkey Kong's car and fly toward the Mushroom Kingdom. Because then, while they're dealing with all of this, everyone else has been taken, except so far Peach. They drove to her kingdom and want all the Toads to evacuate the city, so they are safe. Now the city is evacuated and Peach and this one brave Toad are challenging Bowser alone. They get surrounded and Bowser is doing his speech and proposing to her. But at first she says no. I mean, of course she does. But Bowser uses her Toad as leverage, so she has to say yes, so he doesn't hurt them. Peach gets brought into his castle, and instead of immediately locking her in a dungeon, Bowser decides to do this properly. There's a ceremony, guests, decorations. This man really committed to the theme, which makes it even worse, because everything around it is still built on the idea that if she says no, he's just going to destroy everything anyway. So the Toad is basically romantic but under extreme pressure. Peach, to her credit, does not panic. She stalls. Agrees just enough to keep things moving while clearly planning something in the background. Meanwhile, Luigi is still locked up, watching all of this unfold, fully aware that this is going terribly and he cannot do anything about it. Which is kind of his entire experience in this movie so far. At the ceremony, Bowser is all in. He got the suit, the confidence, the rehearsed speech. He really believes this is happening. Peach plays along just enough to get close, and then uses an ice flower to freeze him mid-ceremony, and some of the guests too. Which is easily the smartest move anyone has made so far in this movie. No speech, no hesitation, just immediate action. For about 5 seconds, it looks like she might actually turn this around on her own. Meanwhile, Mario and Donkey Kong returned. Not subtly. They defeated all of the little enemies down below in the city while using all sorts of power-ups and cameos, and all the things you can wish for when watching the Mario movie. They crashed straight into the ceremony because at this point, suddenly, has never been part of the plan. Donkey Kong is holding the chains that are already in the lava by a lot in place, so nobody dies. Also, I'm pretty sure Luigi is not the one that should be the lowest, but I don't actually know. There are several that look to be way lower than Luigi's cage, and he is still the first and actually only one in the lava. Donkey Kong pulls up the chain, Luigi falls, but Mario catches him before anything serious happens. They free them all, but then comes the moment where Bowser frees his head and commands that the monster bull is gonna be fired, and it's supposed to destroy the Mushroom Kingdom. But Mario, the hero, has an idea. He talks to the bullet and rams it. But what finally stops it is a small little tail which he uses to slap its eye. Now, it's angry at him and following him, until Mario notices the warp pipe he came through. The bullet crashes through it and explodes, which somehow ruptures the space-time continuum and everything gets sucked into the pipe. Back to Brooklyn, which is a very aggressive change of setting. Now, you've got Bowser, his army, Mario, Luigi, Peach, Donkey Kong, all of it in the real world. In the middle of a city that was absolutely not prepared for this. Bowser dominates Mario by a lot. I mean, as a 10-foot big fire-breathing lizard. But Mario is not alone in this. Peach and Donkey Kong help distract Bowser. Mario's shift happens when he sees his commercial one last time. And then he challenges Bowser again. But in the perfect moment where Mario is just about to be burned, Luigi shows up and saves him. They grab the Power Star together. And it's crazy. They didn't even know what it does, but they were pretty confident that it saves them from the fire. So now, because of the star power-up, they defeat Bowser's army and Bowser himself with ease. And in that, they also destroyed his flying castle. And well, in the aftermath, Bowser gets shrunk down using a blue mushroom and locked in a glass. Which feels appropriate, because after everything he did, this is probably the least dramatic punishment possible. And Mario and Luigi? They finally get what they wanted from the beginning. Recognition, respect, people actually taking them seriously. And now, instead of being the guys with the questionable commercial, they're the guys who saved the city. And also another dimension, but that's just a bonus. They continue working as plumbers, but now with actual success. And the movie wraps up with everything in a good place. Balance restored, characters where they should be, no immediate disasters happening. And then right at the end, we get a tease. A Yoshi egg, because of course we do. We're not done here, not even close. And the next movie makes even less sense. Humanity versus aliens. And humanity is trying its best. Well, yeah, that wraps up that awfully long movie. Hope you enjoyed and let me know what movie you want to see in the future. Alright, that's it for now. If you like this disaster of a recap, feel free to click some buttons, or don't. I'm not your dad, so that YouTube knows that my videos are worth watching. Thanks again, and see you in the next one.